All right, guys, welcome to another live stream. Welcome to another live stream. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. All right, so you are seven doubles away from $1 million. You are seven doubles away from $1 million. First time I heard of this concept was back in grade school. We had this like substitute teacher or this after school teacher. We used to do like a couple hours after school and things like that. And we had a teacher there. It was like a lighthouse program. And he would just always tell us interesting facts. And he actually started out with a penny. He said, if you doubled a penny for 27 days, you would have $1 million. And obviously, we were little kids at the time, so nobody really believed it. So we would get the pen and paper out and we would double a penny and we would actually see, okay, you would get to $1 million. Now, I do like to use things that are applicable. So I bumped this up a little further and I said, okay, how much would you need to double seven times to get $1 million? And the number is 10K. And I think a lot of people can get to 10K. I don't think it's that hard to save up. Now, obviously, most people don't have $1,000 saved, but I think with a additional job, I think with overtime and just better saving habits, you could get to 10K. And let's get into this chart that I have real quick to show you how you can double your money seven times and get to 10K or a million. Sorry. All right, so I first did the calculation here. So it shows you on Venice. I'm using Venice AI. It shows you how you could double a million or a penny and get to a million in 27 days, and it breaks it all down right here. And then I used the 10,000 number. And here it goes, right? So the first time you double it, you would get to 20. The second time you would double it, you would get to 40. The third time you would double it, you would get to 80. The fourth time you would double it, you would get to 160. The fifth time you would double it, you would get to 320. The sixth time, 640. And finally, the last time, 1.28. Now, for me, getting to that first number is very achievable, that 10K. So again, it's really just going to take you, for most of you, I would say the middle class, it would take you a part-time job, an additional job, or either getting promoted at your current job and just getting paid more so that way you can stack away money. Most people's problem is that they're not making enough. And then like the second part is you may be making enough, you're just not budgeting correctly, you're not paying yourself first. So you need to learn how to pay yourself first. Now the second question is, where do I get the double? And I think that's probably the most important question, because people are going to say, okay, well, I got to the 10K, how do I double my money to get to this $1 million mark? And so again, I went to do the research and saw between 2023 and 2025 when were there opportunities to double your money, and were they kind of easy to do, right? And in my opinion, when I looked it up, I think it was easy, right? So let's look. So I asked, and I said between 2023 and 2025, they said there were several stocks and cryptocurrencies that experienced significant price increases, with some more than doubling in value. And this is true. There's a bunch of stocks that do way more than a double. I think a double is really conservative nowadays. A lot of companies do a double. I mean, we saw it with Tesla. It does a double almost every 6-7 months. It crashes and then doubles in price. So it's really not that uncommon to see a double. Okay, so the first opportunity that it gave me was this company called App. It's this mobile advertising platform saw its stock price surge over 1,200% in 2024, driven by advancements in artificial intelligence. And I think that's actually a good point. Artificial intelligence, for the last 2 to 3 years, presented a bunch of opportunities to double. And you really want to be, in my opinion, to fulfill this strategy, you want to just take the most, I would say, conservative approach. So let's just say you gave yourself a 7-year window and you said, okay, I just want to get a double each year. Now, again, that actually beats the average return on money. I think the average return on money is like 12%. But again, maybe you expand it out. You say every 2 years you're going to get a double. So now maybe 10 to 12 years it's going to take you to get to that million. But again, most people don't get to that million in a lifetime. So if it took you 10 to 12 years, I don't think that's bad. But I honestly do think people could get it in 7 years, right? Because, I mean, if we look at the last 7 years, there has been a lot of opportunities. And let's just go over these five. So the first one was app, right? Oops. Finance. The first one was AppLovin. And so this one saw a 1,200% surge in 2024, it said. So let's look at the 5-year chart. So yeah, if you were in tune with what was going on with App, again, it's a $141 billion company, but it went from 89 to 415. So this is way more than the double, right? At this point, you would have taken your money and not only got the double, but you would have probably, if you stood in it long enough, you would have got to 40 or 80,000, right? So there, you already cut half of the process down. Now, obviously, you would be all in, but I think all in at 10K is not that big of a deal. Most people put 10K down or 10K plus on their property. Most people put 10K down on a lot of big purchases on your car. So it's not a big thing to put 10K down. Now, obviously, when you get to these higher amounts, you would leave the money in, and going all in at 80,000 or 160 is going to be a lot more, I guess you could say, stressful. But if you're picking a blue chip asset, if you're picking the right asset, I don't think it's going to be that stressful, in my opinion. Especially once you start getting to that 160, 320, you're probably used to the doubling process. You're not as scared of the market. Volatility is going to come and things like that. But yeah, just with app, I mean, you would have cut this in half. You would have been at 80 or 160 already. So, and that would have just been in 2024. So that's 1 year. So you kind of cut that 7 years into 3 years, right? The next opportunity that they have is Venet, a Chinese data center operator. U.S. listed shares soared by over 210% in 2025. This growth was fueled by significant investments in cloud computing infrastructure from the major companies like ByteDance and Alibaba. I think ByteDance is the owner of TikTok, like the company out of China that owns TikTok. So let's look at this. Venet. All right, and the last year, 2025, right, $3.40 to 415. So again, another 4x. So that right there is your $1 million in the last 2 years, right? You cut down that 7-year or that 7-time window into 2-time, and you get to your $1 million. Okay, and you started with $10,000. So there's opportunities out there, right? You just need to look for them. Now, this is the hardest part, but again, it is possible. Is what we're trying to, the point we're trying to make here. I'm trying to make here. Upstart was another one. Let's go to Upstart. So Upstart did a 232% increase in the past year. So let's look at this ticker. Okay. Yeah. So $29 all the way to $71. $7 billion company. This one's a smaller company, but yeah, it has done that too. It has done like a 200% increase. So again, that's a third example. The fourth example of Fubo TV. This streaming service provides stock more than a triple in 2025. Another 200% gain. Right. And this one's a little bit smaller. So again, you got to be careful with these smaller companies. But the first few, we've seen has provided, but 80 cents all the way to 5. That's almost like a 400% from 2024 to 2025. Okay, now, so let's move over to crypto. Obviously, BTC, I mean, XRP in the last few months provided a 3 to 4x. So again, we're just saying double your money each year, and you for 7 times, and in 7 years you become a millionaire, right? But we've just seen opportunities where you can double, more than double your money in a year. So again, the opportunity is there, and honestly, if we really think about it, that's if you just start with $10,000. Like, let's say if you were more ambitious and you said, okay, I'm going to start this process with $20,000, $30,000. Well, you cut that 7 times into 3 times, right? Or 2 times or 4 times. And you just cut the process down. So really, when you break it down like this, I like to break stuff down like this because it makes it more attainable. I'm like, okay, if I could get $10,000 and just double this thing 7 times, whether it takes me 5 to 7 years, I'm going to be at $1 million. So it really just takes patience. It takes you doing the due diligence as far as which asset you're going to get into. And I think that's what a lot of people lack. They lack the patience. They want things overnight. And also, they're not used to the volatility, because I could assure you that whatever stock or asset you get into, there's going to be a lot of volatility. You're going to have to hold. So that's why it's important to do your research and things like that on what you invest in. And yeah, this strategy is taking $10,000 and going all in and doubling your money. So you got to get used to that too. And I think going all in at 10,000 is not that big of a deal. I think once you start doubling and it starts getting bigger, it's going to be hard for you to keep that money in the market. But again, it's just something you have to get used to. But I just wanted to show that. I thought that was pretty interesting. It takes 7 times to double 10K to get to $1 million. So just keep that in mind when you have your financial goals, and try to break your financial goals down like that. Very simple, and just make it very easy to digest so that way you can complete them. But that's pretty much it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.